Hey everybody, Truth Dog here, internet's favorite dog, back at it with yet another crazy video. This is kind of a redo of my previous video, which is now private. Benevolent reptilians plus how to identify male and female reptilians, examples of reptilians in popular culture. So the reason that I took down the video, well there's a few, but the main one is that I essentially tried to cram 3 different topics into one video, which was a little bit confusing. I think for the viewers, especially for me, it certainly wasn't economical. So I'm going to do the smart thing now and just focus on one thing as I should have from the start. So this will be just highlighting how to identify male and female reptilians. It's very easy. It's so simple, even a child could explain it. So right now we're going to do just that. The difference between sorry, I'll set you up, little fella. The difference between male and female reptilians. All right, very, very funny. There's a freebie. There's a rep right there. Big old Arnie. Arnie, get to the chopper. Oh man, that was a good one. Okay, so to start off, here's the basics. The TLRDR, LDR, too long didn't read version is basically, well, for the male reptilians, you're looking for furrowed brows. They have kind of this look, the Rolly Dog look, right? The Gordon Ramsay look. You'll find this consistent. They just have this kind of face, although maybe not as cute. And for the female reptilians, and this isn't like this is just for specific, this is very specific. I'm sure there's all these different kinds of breeds. For all I know, I mean, you know, like what they say about Canaanites, these are male reptilians, maybe they're actually dog people, you know. I said in my previous video, which was a train wreck, that we descended from the dinosaurs. Of course, the dinosaurs probably didn't even exist, as someone else pointed out. I mean, there were a lot of problems with the video there. But, I mean, you know, back in Egypt, all the different animal-headed gods, that might be the case. Like Animal Farm, all that kind of stuff. We might literally all be some kind of human-animal hybrids. So let's just say non-humans. We'll just go non-humans. So for the male non-humans that we'll be focusing on today, they have this kind of look consistently. And the women, they have that porcelain, cute, pretty doll kind of look. You know what I mean? It's just like a very pretty veneer. It's almost like there's nothing really behind it. So that's the look for the male versus female ones. And at the end, I'll even be showing you human examples, because I'm sure once we get through these 900 links I have ready, we'll have forgotten what a real human looks like. So there we go. Males kind of have this look. Females kind of have that look. They look, you know, like. So this is one example that a viewer brought to my attention. What is his name? Desantis. He's the mayor of Florida. Apparently benevolent reptilian. Although who knows if they exist. Let's try to get some focus here. I mean, this video is not going to be very helpful if we can't see the people in it. Maybe if I stand back. Yeah, apparently my my phone is fairly short-sighted. So there we go, Desantis. And what I'm trying to show here is if this phone will ever focus, which apparently it won't. This is fantastic, fantastic. I really should invest in some screen capture technology. What you'll notice with Desantis, or what you may not notice since it's not frickin', let's see if we can trick it. Dude, this is seriously shit. Okay, so I managed to get my phone to focus. Apparently all I had to do was hit it on the table a few times. You know how like whenever something won't work, 90% of the time all you have to do is hit it or whatever. Just goes to show you that violence solves everything. Everything. So what were we talking about? This Desantis guy? Yeah, just pointing out the furrowed brow thing. One thing I should mention is it's similar to like the Klingons, I think. That might be what they're alluding to in Star Trek. I'm by no means a Trekkie. But I am aware of these things, so that could be what they're alluding to with that. I suppose I can close that link. We'll just have some more looks at Desantis so you can get an idea about what I'm talking about. So what I mean, the face almost looks like a latex mask, kind of similar to the TV series V, where the aliens are revealed to be wearing human latex masks. Now, I don't know necessarily if that's true. I mean, anything's possible, of course. I think it might be more of an analogy. The way I see it is that these people tend to have similar faces. Like here's another example. This guy, I thought had a similar look to Desantis, and he also, I feel, has a similar look to Arnold. Just very sort of like tight skin, very almost mask looking. In some cases, like silly putty. There, we got an example there. They always have like that creased brow or the furrowed brow, more or less, which I do believe is a non-human trait. But like I was saying, I liken it to a creator class, custom class in a video game. Did I get any pictures of that? Anyway, most of you guys probably, and gals, and anyone in between probably plays video games and knows what I mean. Where like a role-playing game where it lets you create your own character. You can change all the facial details before you get in the game. They also have the default character skins. So there's like all these faces, all these stock faces that you can use. This, I feel, is kind of why these non-humans, we'll say, tend to look similar, because they're all using like those default custom faces in this game, you know, this virtual simulation that we're in. See also there's another tell, the forked tongue. They also tend to have, geez, we're losing our focus again. They also tend to have very dark pupils and larger pupils most of the time. This is another guy who is definitely not human. T Martin and this fellow, I forget his name. I'll just call him Captain Dickhead or something. They started a gambling website. They made a video where they both pretended to have found the website. What they actually meant was founded the website. And they showed themselves winning a bunch of money, got a bunch of kids to gamble on there. But T Martin actually ended up blowing it because he was doing a live stream where he accidentally logged in as admin on the stream and everyone saw it. So he had to do this apology video. And I know I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here. I actually prepared this one too. So that's T Martin, and we'll have a look at him, at the man in action.
I have no idea how I'm going to record this video, dude.
So he's using animals to manipulate. That's something that psychopaths always do. It helps soften the image, makes them come across as more human, I suppose.
All right, guys.
But this is what I mean. Like, especially in motion, you can see how clear his skin is, and I don't think he's wearing makeup or anything. Well, a lot of them tend to have this very, very clear looking skin. Like I said, almost looks like a video game character. If I were to tell you this was from a PS5 or a PS4 video game cutscene, I don't think many people would disbelieve me.
I'm trying to make this as short and sweet as possible. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But first and foremost,
I'm not sure. I think he might have green eyes too. That's apparently another tell. But
I do want to say
one thing you'll notice is that the protruding lower row of teeth.
that I love you guys.
He loves us. It tends to show their lower teeth. That's a sign of an aggressive person. Not necessarily non-human, but a person who's very aggressive will show their bottom row of teeth more often than not. You can also see the other tools of manipulation he has going here. He's showing his gay blue Jeep in the background there, you know, all these status symbols. The staircase showing that he's got a big house. I guess maybe that's priceless art. Of course, it's like sex appeal or whatever. It looks like shit anyway. But all this stuff, so that's just...
seriously mean the world to me. You have for the past 6 years that I've been...
He's meant to be making an apology video. Long story short, he doesn't actually apologize. It's another thing that reps do, especially politicians. They'll make it seem like they apologize, but they certainly will not. They have complete and utter contempt for humans. But so there's T Martin, a good example of what to look for. Also, very, very symmetrical face. But we'll get to that when we highlight the humans. Now, this guy is probably the most rolly dog looking person of all time. Mr. Gordon Ramsay. I actually typed S-E-Y. Originally, it auto-corrected me. But I think that's a Mandela effect. It used to be S-E-Y, but now it's Ramsay, as in the devil says. Gordon Ramsay wouldn't surprise you to know that he's some sort of rep, because he's, very much a known arsehole. See what I mean about the latex mask look? They also tend to have very large heads for humans. You know, this guy, if let's say he was wearing a mask, it almost looks like his head's so big that two people there's two heads inside his head. You know what I mean? Like some sort of conjoined twin alien is playing him. Of course, that's not canon. Don't quote me on that one. But get a good look at him. Very handsome man. And like I said, they look very CGI, but I mean, he looks really CGI there, doesn't he? So So there you go. That's another example. They also tend to have this hair that has a life of its own. We'll get to, I have Conan OBrien set up? I don't think I have. Yeah, I got Conan. Conan I don't think is a malevolent non-human, but he definitely has that same kind of hair where, again, a lot of the times even the hair can look computer generated. Who we got next? Mark Wahlberg. Hopefully you're noticing a trend with these facial types, the skin type. See what I mean? Looks tight, also looks mask-like. You got the almost permanent furrowed brow in nearly every picture. And again, kind of a dirty dog, this Mark Wahlberg, at least in his younger days. He was a part of a gang, very racist, apparently beat a Chinese man nearly to death, blinded him for life, and got off, so probably also connected. With the one other thing too with the bodies, I should have gotten the NASA guys ready, but see what I mean about the body? It looks very puffy, even though he's obviously very fit there. It almost looks hollow, like if you were to like knock on it, you get an echo. Their bodies, even if they are, like I said, fit, they tend to look fake. Like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but especially with the NASA guys, you'll notice too, like mainly in their arms. Anyway, so I mean, you get the point. Hopefully, you know what I mean. Maybe another time I'll give some more examples, but we've got like a lot of these to get through. Who's next? Okay, so here's an example of a non-human of color. This is Donald Glover. No relation to Danny Glover, at least I don't think so. And he's got the furrowed brow look. He's also got the hair that kind of looks like it has a life of its own, almost CGI. This picture here, it's like, who's the real Donald? You know what I mean? And I've pointed this out before. You'll notice with the darker the skin, you'll notice they have very, very white-looking eyeballs, almost like a cartoon character. See what I mean? It looks exactly the same as that, or like The Simpsons. You just draw like a white circle and put black dots in. I think there's another picture down here. I did see it before. But this face, see what I mean? Their facial expressions, they look almost cartoonish. I did have a better one. Just bear with me, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. But basically, when they make expressions, their skin makes all these creases that, again, look like they're wearing a mask. Oh, wait. It's hard. There's another one. I mean, unfortunately, we're not focusing. We probably spent too much time on Mr. Glover. Hopefully, you're starting to see what I mean. If by this point you're not, you may never. Conan OBrien, who I don't think is a bad guy, but I certainly don't think that he is fully human looking. I think even someone who's not into conspiracies would agree with, I think even Conan himself would agree with me on that. He makes a lot of jokes about his pale complexion. That's another way to tell. Very Caucasian looking people. I mean, what even are white people? And I say that as a mostly white guy. Louis C.K. actually did a bit on white people being aliens once, because we're not, they are not, we're not suited to the world, you know, to be comfortable. We're never comfortable with the way the weather is. It's always too hot or too cold. Especially with people with next to no melanin. They're basically vampires who burn in the sun. But I think you're starting to see what I mean. How they almost look like video game characters, CGI. Conan's also got a huge head. Gordon Ramsay. Here's another example of the, what do you call it, rolly dog look. John C. Reilly. See that kind of Klingon forehead. I don't get really a bad vibe from John C. Reilly either. But he's a pretty good example of what I mean about the non-humans. And pretty symmetrical face, all things considered. So let's move on to the ladies. And like I said, just a little refresher here. Oops, sorry. Talk about a dog. This pretty porcelain doll look. They almost look too perfect. It's like they look so perfect, they look plain. See what I mean? I'm looking through the camera to film. I should be looking at the screen and then focusing in on certain ones. But you know what I mean about how they look like a porcelain doll? This is the women, and again, this is just my theories. This is observations that I've picked up on. Very symmetrical faces. See what I mean? Almost too perfect looking. The idea of the symmetry, of course, is something that the human eye has been, well, that we're all told that symmetry is beauty, and that's, I would imagine, something they put out there deliberately in all the what do you call it? All those magazines that little girls read. You know what I mean? To give them low self-esteem. I don't know what you call them. But same with makeup. You know what I mean? It's unattainable beauty because real humans are born with asymmetrical faces, as I'll try to demonstrate later. But the majority of these non-humans, they tend to have very symmetrical faces because it goes back to the creator class thing. Why would you create a character that is asymmetrical? You know what I mean? You wouldn't. Why would, you know what I mean? Why would you go to that if it's to a detriment? Dojikat, apparently she has admitted to being a reptilian. Again, she has that very doll-like looking face. Although, again, they tend to be wearing a lot of makeup, but so it's hard to tell. But makeup is evil, and I honestly believe that any man who likes the way women look with makeup probably doesn't actually like women. For those who don't know, makeup was actually invented to help cross-dressers pass as women back in the old times, and because women were so marginalized, they weren't actually allowed to play. They weren't allowed to appear in plays or acting, so men played women, and that's one of the reasons why makeup was invented. This is another person, Dove Cameron. Again, very much the porcelain doll look. Apparently she's had surgery, but that's what she looked like before. You know what I mean? It's almost like, some of them almost look like a grey alien, how far their eyes are apart. Do you see what I mean? Almost rounded shape, kind of so perfect looking, they just look plain. Don't have a lot of natural feminine glow to them. Don't have a lot of personality to them, I would say too. Another darker skinned example, this is Janelle Mae, and one other way that I describe the look of the female non-human is they tend to look like Whoville characters, like from Dr. Seuss or Dr. Seuss or whatever it is. The other day I was told that it's actually pronounced Dr. Seuss or something, and I was like, is that a Mandela effect? I've literally never heard that before, but apparently it's Dr. Seuss or something. And so there's Janelle Mae. I don't particularly get a bad vibe from her either. She has some pretty good music, but just an example of that kind of very round porcelain doll look. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully you do. So there's another example, and yet another one. We got what's her name? Lily Cole. I was talking about the symmetry. I actually searched Lily Cole asymmetrical to see if there are any examples, and there aren't. So that's, I think that is one tell. See what I mean? It just looks like doll, and yeah, she's wearing makeup, but still, you know, that doll-like look, almost hollow looking. So now to move on to some examples of real humans, because we've been looking at these fake ones for so long, we might have forgotten what they look like. One of my favorite bands of all time, Nirvana. And what you'll notice is the skin. Obviously, these dudes weren't wearing makeup, I would imagine. But you can see the skin. It's more blotchy. You can see the blood flowing underneath. Of all three of these dudes, I would say that Chris here has the most human look. Even Dave somehow looks human. And Kurt. And you'll see even Kurt, see the asymmetry. See this eye and that eye? Different sizes. So that's kind of what you're looking for. At least that's what I think. Got any other examples? I mean, you guys all know Nirvana, probably. So that's an example of what I mean. And they look like they have more personality too, the real humans. Another example, the Beatles, but in particular George Harrison, I think is a good example of someone who looks human. Down to the asymmetry too, you know. See, that eye and that eye. I also think the one eye bigger than the other thing is not only a human trait, but it's also a way to identify someone who has been through trauma. Yeah, here's the picture. So again, see, that eye is bigger than that eye. And the reason I talk about the trauma thing is because it's something that all real humans go through. This place is basically torture for angels, heaven for devils. So there we go. And maybe we even look at the Beatles, because themselves, or at least, can we get any? I think there's one picture of the original Paul somewhere. He didn't have the symmetrical face either. Here we go. So this is the real Paul McCartney. See the lack of symmetry, the different eyes? That's a way to tell if someone is real or not real. Moving on to Tupac. Not super familiar, but I'm just trying to show, trying to give you a lot of examples of asymmetry. I mean, well, the symmetry's really off there, isn't it? That eye looks way bigger than that one, but as you all know, that's something that celebrities, especially the mind control ones, do. Their one-eyed symbolism in reverence to the one-eyed king. I'll save and see. You can see again that eye, different sizes, and again, a lot of natural charisma on the true humans. And what's been the trend too? They've all been knocked off. All the I didn't even realize that. All the examples I've shown so far, even George Harrison's dead. Paul McCartney was killed very early on. Kurt Cobain was killed very early on. So they don't like real humans being celebrities, because real humans are going to lead positive examples to the youth, whereas the psychopaths, reps, and whatnot won't. So we'll get into some female examples. This is Grimes and Poppy. I believe are both human. Not sure if I'd say they're both good humans. That might be down to the fact that they're both MK Ultra mind control slaves. Sorry, I'm suffering from... I'm trying to change hands here. Not like that. It's just trying to change hands, and one's shaking. So don't want to get the Parkinson cam too much, because this is very important that we can focus. But you'll see that eye different to that eye. Even more noticeable in Poppy. That eye bigger than that eye. Yeah, I think Grimes might have even gotten surgery. It's hard to find examples, but as always, so you can see that eye different to that eye. Asymmetry, that's how you spot a real human. Also, she looks like she has a lot of personality too. And finally, last but not least, Katy Perry. Very good example of the asymmetry of a human there. Of course, she's caked in makeup. She looks a lot better without it. But that's just an example of the asymmetry, which most of the time you won't find on the non-humans. Certainly not to that extent. And the reason I searched the asymmetry thing is, as you can see there, it gives a very good example. Where do we have it? Of the differences. So that's her. That's like a real human face, and these are the. This is if that side was, on both sides, and vice versa. And you can see that's more of the female reptilian look, the video game default creator class face. You know what I mean? It's just a little too perfect. And as a result, it lacks personality. I think there's another example down here. I mean, where is it? So if I can't find it, that one would probably do. Yeah, so, well, I guess we'll just go back to it. That sucks. Where the heck is it? Where is it? No, just, again, can't really hide it, see? Different eye. Could be from drilling too. Who knows? But that's, yeah, the asymmetry. Oh, here we go. Okay. Again, see? When you combine it, they almost have a look of contempt. It somehow... It looks always, and that's kind of like looks like Megan Fox or whatever, like so perfect it's almost suspicious. So anyway, we're at the end there. We somehow made it through. Those are just some examples. Feel free to leave your own in the comments below. Feel free to disagree, because any comments helps me out with the algorithm. The more comments, the more likely my videos likely to be shown to other people. So there you have it. How to spot the difference between a male and female reptilian, and also how to spot a human. What did you think of the video, Arnold? I found it very informative. Thank you for sharing. Oh, you're very welcome, Arnold. And hopefully everyone at home enjoyed it too. If you did, remember to leave a like, favorite, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Have a good one. Truth Dog out. Woof! Oh, also, I'll be back. Oh, also, I can do that better. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be.